At the beginning of Genesis chapter 6, it came to pass when the children of men increased upon the earth, and fair daughters were born to them, etc. Now, in this story, we have described the descent of the sons of God. Now, when we look to the book of Job, the sons of God are clearly angels. So the simplest explanation for this, and in fact, historically, the oldest explanation for this, is that in Genesis chapter 6, we have a description of a descent to the earth of angels in order to take human wives. Now, later in that passage are described Nephilim. Nephilim means fallen ones. This does not refer to the angels. The angels did not fall, they descended. There's a massive difference between walking downstairs and tumbling down them. Okay, so the angels are not the Nephilim. Now, Nephilim, fallen ones, it's a term used elsewhere in the Bible to refer to a miscarriage, that which falls out of the womb in an untimely fashion. If you're to call somebody a miscarriage, if you're to call somebody an abortion, it is an insult. It is a very crude, disgusting, earthy, real insult. And that seems to be what the Bible's doing here. The Bible is talking about the offspring of the angels and the humans, these illegitimate, hybrid creatures that were not meant to be, and it wants to insult them. And it wants to insult them for a very good reason. Neighbouring cultures would have viewed hybrids like this, half God, half man, would have viewed these creatures as heroes, as mighty men, as almost godlike people to be revered and admired. And when the Bible refers to them, it wants to refer to them as miscarriages, to insult them. And that's who the Nephilim are. So traditionally, these mighty offspring have been identified as having exaggerated size, of being very heroic in many respects, and they appear at later parts of the Bible, which would suggest that the illegitimate interaction between angels and humans wasn't a one-off event. It's something that happened in Genesis chapter 6, but it's also something that happened time and again, thus producing such offspring at certain points in history. In the Old Testament, in the Hebrew Bible, we have very few references. I mean, famously, we have King Saul tormented by an evil spirit sent by the Lord, and it's soothed by David playing the lyre to avert the evil spirit away. But really, we have very few references in the Hebrew Bible, in the Old Testament, to evil spirits. When we come to the New Testament, they're all over the place, and Jesus is encountering them on an almost day-to-day basis as part of his everyday normal ministry. He's casting out evil spirits, and he's healing the sick, and sometimes those things are not related, sometimes they are. And this raises a very important question. Where do they all suddenly come from? What's happened between the Testaments? What's happened in Judaism as it's developed, that it's acquired this notion of evil spirits as a clear and present danger that need to be counteracted now? And what happened was that in between the Testaments, a clear Jewish etiology, an explanation of the origins of demons developed. The most popular explanation was going back to this narrative in Genesis chapter 6. The idea being that when the flood came, the humans perished, the angels were imprisoned, as we read in Jude 2 Peter, beneath the ground. But the offspring of the angels and the humans, these illegitimate hybrids, they could not perish in the flood just like humans because they were half supernatural. And so their spirits became disembodied. Their flesh died in the flood, but the spirits remained alive upon the earth. So these spirits Well, if you get made homeless, what do you want? You want to find a new home. So these spirits now wander around trying to find a new body to inhabit. Hence the notion, the idea of demonic possession. They're moving in because they used to have a nice body to live in before, and they need a new one. So and this underlies what we see in the gospel accounts. A group of demons negotiate with Christ, saying, please do not cast us out, except into these new bodies, these herd of pigs, that they could go and inhabit.